Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. We're glad you're here today. And as we go forth today, I want to say welcome to LKM Kingdom Living Leslie's Lessons Learned, where we are hoping that you learn something to live your life more abundantly. As we go through this morning, I want to say I got a mirror somewhere. I'm out of town and I stuck it somewhere. I don't know where it is. So we won't be doing the mirror this morning. And but I do want to say welcome to everyone. And I hope that you woke up on the right side of bed today, that you didn't wake up feeling depressed, that you didn't wake up feeling, is life worth living? I hope that you realize life is worth living. There's a song we used to sing, Life is Worth the Living. How's it go? For the
All
living. Go ahead. All because,
life is worth the living
yes,
because he lives.
just because he lives, I can face tomorrow.
Because he lives.
Hallelujah. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I just want us to say what we say every Sunday. Life without me is like a world without colors. And I want you to understand and realize that that's a real thing. That life without you, if you try to take your life before time, or if you decide that you no longer want to be here before it's your assigned time to live, this world, your family, sometimes we're in, excuse me for the noise, um, sometimes we're in a place where we feel like nobody needs us. We feel like there's nothing here for me. They're better off without me. Well, that's a lie from the pit. We cannot live without you. So, in the process of that, I want you to know to live, because life is worth living. And I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I'm sorry, I'm in a room and he's changing the trash out and things like that. And I just want to say happy Father's Day to all of you men out there. We appreciate you. We're so glad that you are a part. Well, I won't say everybody, but for the most part, we are glad that you're out there and that you are a part of our lives. Fathers don't always get. I got everything going on right now. So I don't know if y'all heard that or not. Um, yeah. So let me see if I could pull this up. Of course, it disappeared on me. So let me go to the video. I do have a video I want to show. Oh, here it is. I'm pretty sure I had all this keyed up. You can hear that. Okay, let's try it now. Okay.
And take care of business so that I bring home the bacon, and if I can feed my family, then I've been a good dad. And that is not the most important thing our kids need. I found that out from my son. I was actually getting an award, a fatherhood award. And so I had to give a speech, and I wanted to tell them, what great, neat things I'd done for my kids. So I asked my son, Eric was like 12 at the time. I said, tell me the neatest thing that we've done together, thing that you were most happy that we got to do. And he had been on the sideline with me, he'd gone to Super Bowls and all these different neat things. And he said, well, you remember the time we were playing baseball with a roll of tape and a broom because all the stuff was locked away and we just played baseball and I beat you 22-2 in tape baseball. I said, of all the things we've done, that's the thing you remember? Why is that? He said, well, that was just special, me and you together. And I said, wow, that made me think that it's not the great things, it's not what I provided for, it's not being able to fly him to the Super Bowl, but it was playing a baseball game with a roll of tape because it was just him and I.
I thought that was pretty uh, decent. The fact that, yes. And good morning to everyone that's here. The fact that we, I'm going to say this for me. Um, I'm going to say this for me. The fact that sometimes we don't take the opportunity to appreciate fathers. Can I tell you, my grandfather used to tell us off when it was Father's Day. He would tell us off because he was like, "Y'all go out here, you break your neck for your mama and your grandmama, and you come in here with some doggone slippers for me, or a tie or something."
Old Spice cologne, some
Yes, yes,
musk,
it was good for that.
Old Musk, and the red Old Spice cologne. And y'all thought Polo was popping, that little green bottle
Yes,
in every man's house, the
yes.
little knob on the top of it. I see it. I put it in the freezer. To this very day, I don't wear Polo. This
And I
very
never
day, I don't wear
thought
Polo.
about
Old
it.
Spice, Old English.
I never really.
I
Well,
can
you
hear the
think about it.
commercial now. If I could
Yeah,
whistle, I would whistle.
they done updated it now, but it still come. They still got a commercial.
Hilarious.
And man, he'd be livid. We come in there, so I started making sure that if I gave him a tie, I gave him a shirt with it or something. We just
Either,
knew that mothers
either that
dress up.
or a
Or a pipe. Or a
or
pipe. And he didn't
or
even smoke.
or a screwdriver. I got
A
little,
screwdriver.
Tools. Yeah,
little,
y'all
Yes,
need
yes,
tools.
always have to have
You,
tools.
little,
you need tools. You
little
need tools.
cheap little box too. Get me the real thing. Give me some Klein. Give me some Give me some real little
A hammer with
yeah
wrapped with a bow on it. Because we
hammer
love you, Dad. We love
hammer.
you.
Yeah,
Back in the day, my store at that time, well, I don't know if anybody know about Pomeroy's and well, everybody know about Woolworths. And back there, you can go in Woolworths and get some pretty decent things with um, a little bit of money. So
it wasn't Mother's Day kind of stuff. It wasn't Mother's Day stuff. It was Father's Day. A sock, a tie,
Listen,
Old
not
Spice.
one sock.
maybe
There was
some
Got a
pajamas.
pair of socks,
a
and they
sock.
was black. Or
Man,
some
ain't wear
tube
pajamas.
socks. Remember the tube socks?
That's
The tube socks with the color, with the one.
If
It
I
had
brought them
three stripes.
home,
It had two stripes.
if I
yeah.
brought them home, it would have been over.
Now,
Life would
see,
have been over.
I was original. I would write my daddy a poem. Daddy,
Oh,
you are my sunshine.
With
The
a big,
stars light up at
well, we
night.
got to make them in school. We
with a
got to
big
make. We
old
got to
head
make them.
and a short arm and a heart in the middle, painted red. I'm we just having fun. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I mean, it's real. It's real. And when I was thinking about it, I said, my grandfather used to be livid. Y'all coming here with some doggone slippers, and your grandmom gets a hat and a dress and shoes to match it. And I just
And a
thought,
spa treatment
yes.
and a reservation at Red Lobster back in the day when reservations was the thing at Red Lobsters. Yes. Right.
So, yeah, we do want to honor the fathers today. A lot of fathers uh, might not be doing what they're supposed to do. But the thing and the purpose is that life was given for a purpose, and that there's should be a village around. I was listening to this saying by Steve Harvey. He says the women have the village, the men don't have the village to help support them and help father the children. You have to hear it. I was going to play it, but it's a few minutes long, so I didn't play it. But his point was is that everybody will rally around more for the women, help take care of the children, so than a lot of men. And the men, he was saying that the men don't get the same support as the women do. So I see Apostle over there like,
Mm,
okay, let's figure
mm.
this one out.
Go ahead, Apostle. Go
That
ahead.
think like I never did like that think like a man concept. So I'm not a big fan of a lot of that philosophy from that resource. It's not so much that men don't have a village. We just do things that we're different. I don't think that people pay attention to the dynamics that Yahweh put into play
Right.
very beginning. And it's a very interesting thing. And I'm sorry to sort of kind of jump all over your normal program. We didn't already had,
No, we you know, yeah.
I think that everybody needs to be reminded of the reality that men don't need what women need, and women have to have what they need. Men have to have what they need, and we can't compare the two because that's just not the way it is. Now we are human. You have longer hair, we have shorter hair. You have different uh, purpose, different fulfillment. You produce children through your body. We produce children through a seed given. There are different needs and different dynamics, and the narrative that I love what you said earlier, Leslie. You mind if I use it?
Sure. I don't
Women,
know what I said, but
men, there are a lot of men that don't do what they're supposed to do. But happy Father's Day. There's a lot of women that don't do what they're
don't.
supposed to do neither, and it's still a happy Mother's Day. It ain't a narrative when it comes to y'all, because we say mama's supposed to do this. So we live in I say estrogen society, at this point, where men's testosterone, whether it's through the food we're feeding them, this whole concept. So I cannot subscribe to what my what my co-masculine entity had said, because Elohim made man and woman different. We can start at since the fall,
Yes.
when mankind was one. Elohim took out woman, put her before masculinity man, gave her a womb, as it were, and the two were equal. Once they fell, Yahweh did something very interesting in Genesis chapter 3. He told the woman, because of your participation, watch what he says. He says, I want to greatly multiply your emotions, your sorrows. And that thing is huge. And I don't mean to, am I,
Help go flow with it. Flow.
she good.
I'm sorry.
So my point to it is that when Elohim said, I'm going to greatly multiply your sorrows, and in sorrow you shall conceive, right? Two different sorrows. One means emotions, the other means pain. Same verse. So the first one is, he says, listen, so technically look at it this way. Both man and woman, when he pulled them out after the Sabbath, let's just say had 5 emotions. When they fell, he fell. When that kicked in, Yahweh gave her a punishment to her body, the serpent's body. And then he said to the woman, I'm going to greatly multiply your emotions. So when man started out with 5 emotions, just hypothetically speaking, when he said that, he now, the masculine, has 5, and she now, the feminine, has 500. We different. There is a massive difference. So this is how man has to be understood as different. We don't need what women need to feel loved.
Right.
That's the whole concept, though. Many people think, oh, it's wrong to say it, and you need to, men don't have to cry. We have to provide, we have to thrive, we have to help them. So there are a lot of things, and that's just a soundbite. Don't nobody take me and chew my head off. It's just, when certain people say certain things, they leave these narratives because they can make it popular, make it go viral, and it's wrong. Men don't need what women need. Women need something different than men. There are differences in what's needed. Mother's Day and Father's Day, no one needs it. It's every day.
Yes, it is.
It's every day. But to that end, women emotions is way up here. Men's emotions is right here. When something go wrong, the man is like, "Why she like that? What is the? Why you can't? It was just the toilet seat. What? Why are you? You got
Don't
cooking
talk,
in the
don't
dog.
talk about the toilet seat.
Why are you taking it there? I don't understand, right? So he's got to look up to ask Elohim, you made her like this. Can you please help me? Father, I need you. I need you now. And so, can you help me? And then at the same time, when she's on her thing and he is not responding to her, she like, why you not understanding what I'm dealing with? I don't know why you. So, in order for her to understand why he's not there, she has to turn to the Father and say, "You made us this way. Help me understand what his issue is and where he's at and why he's what we're different." We need different things. Stop acting like we are in need of equality. We need what is fair. I'm even in the society we live in today, I don't even want equality. I want what's fair. I need equity, not equality. So that's a very important thing to understand. So, Prophetess Leslie, I'm sorry. Certain things just get at me. My eyes start twitching in the back of my head, and some people say stuff so they can sell a book. I'm saying stuff so we can read a book.
No, I said
Make
your
that
head
a
was
quote.
twisted. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good quote. Um, yes. So, Wanda, how are you? Look, everybody knows, mostly everybody knows Apostle, everybody knows Minister Wanda or Elder Wanda, and we're going to get jump right into it and allow Apostle. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know it's Father's Day, and we know your family might. We know you don't get really caught up in all that, but I pray that somebody is celebrating you today. You do a lot. You do a lot in the kingdom, and I'm sure out of the kingdom as well. So we do want to honor you and appreciate the fact that you took time out today to come back to help us understand how do we as believers, I'm going to say, live a more healthy, prosperous life. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, well, thank you. I, but yeah, we did discuss that. We talked about that a little bit. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I think I've been with you three weeks straight.
Yes.
Y'all must be special. Um, and the understanding of how do we deal with things such as depression and anger and wrath and all of those things. It's an important thing to understand. But as we go through the psychology and the clinicians of psychology and psychiatry, and now you got all these self-help gurus out here in the world, and then you have all these other areas of advice giving and pastor counseling, that's based on all of these scientific evaluations and litmus tests of how you do this and how you do that. There is one clear, sure, pure, true, and I mean never wavering way to deal with depression. I mean, to deal with anxiety, to deal with which is akin and a bedfellow to suicidal tendencies, which is akin to and a bedfellow to depression and insecurity, all of that type of cachet and narrative. Um, and the truth about it is, it's resting, and I mean it in the most purest and truest sense that is overlooked because it's so obvious. Yahweh gave us 24 hours in a day. We're supposed to rest like literally sleep 5 to 7 hours so that the body, led by the brain and the neurology, can begin to do in the human body and anatomy, the cellular level, the sinew level, the organ level, the skeletal level, the marrow level, what needs to be done to reset you. And to get right to it, because we do have limited time. It's Father's Day. Ain't nobody gonna be out nowhere anyway, so we good. Um, Everybody home. Y'all done cooked at the house. Ain't nobody going at the Capitol Grill today. Ain't nobody going to Maggiano's today. Don't worry about it. Y'all good. Cheesecake Factory. Y'all don't want to date, but you want to take us there. Okay, yeah. No, we don't want that for the first date, but we're gonna take us to cheesecake. Remember that? That was okay. That was old. All right, it was all in fun. So resting is a very important thing scientifically, and then I show it to you biblically what it does and how it really works for you. Your body has to get a certain amount of rest every single solitary day. Your body's schedule is a microcosm of Elohim's global, or yes, global and uh, world schedule. So rest is so important that we have moved away from it because somebody who had a good amount of knowledge, good and evil, told you to be in a city like New York, where the city never sleeps. And you wonder why the city is a wreck. The city is in chaos. The city is murderous. The city is vindictive. The city is unforgiving. It's a concrete jungle with a patch of green in the middle, and that type of thing, because we don't rest. We're told that these are narratives that actually trigger and form the psyche of most of us who say, I need a vacation. Vacations were not for you to do what you do with them. Vacations were for you to pull aside and rest. And now you and I live in a culture and a society, because of what's trending with the trinketries of life and people saying, oh, we're going to go to Dubai. Oh, we're going to go over here. Oh, we're going to go this and we're going to do this. And then you need a vacation to rest up from your vacation. And then you're depressed because now you got to go back to work, and your feet still swole, your ankles still swole. You're trying to figure out how much money you overspent flexing at the restaurant and everything. So now your state of mind is in a how do I say it? It's in an oppressive state, a suppressive state, because we didn't rest like we're supposed to rest. So back to the day, every day you're supposed to rest. We're supposed to rest 5 to 7 hours a day. And as you get older, the more power naps, if you got to take them, but entering into that REM state, you've heard me talk about that in times past, but I want to make it more of a biblical application for us to see that science was not tripping. It is a real thing. And Elohim created everything. So when Yahweh puts man to sleep, he actually has the body he designed, while the body he implored is now physically not moving and in a rest state. We call it random or rapid eye movement, called REM state of rest. If you don't enter into an REM state of rest physically as a human every day, you don't give your brain time to adjust what you've taken in through your eye gate, your ear gate, conversations you've had and banter and volley you've had in dialogue, or even elements into your skin and the pores of your body. Your sleep state is what processes everything you've intake. It processes it for you while you're sleeping. So when you wake up, you now have it in proper cache and can pull from that drawer, that place, this file, and your brain compartmentalizes all of that. And I say brain just to be very generic. There are many more components here. And that is a microcosm of how Yahweh made us. Watch me prove it. Genesis chapter and number 3. You can go to Genesis chapter number 2, verses 1. You understand that when Yahweh made humanity, first thing he gave humanity was the seventh day. The first gift Yahweh gave humanity was day 7. Even throughout the Torah, you hear the Sabbath was a gift. The first gift humanity got, taking the throne of dominance in an earth, was a day called Shabbat, where Yahweh put man to rest. He put man to decease and to desist from working. Watch this. So Yahweh himself could reach into man and pull out of man what he would need to help man. I'm back. So if you don't understand that before the first human, there was masculinity and femininity within one pulchritude. Now, here's the thing there. When Yahweh actually puts the human being to sleep, male and female created he them, when he puts the human to sleep, he reaches into the human and says, I need this to work better. So feminine, come out. Now, when he wakes up, stand here looking good in front of him. He should recognize you because you're already in him. Now, when he wakes up, he'll see, I don't know how I know you, but you are bone of my bone. You are flesh of my flesh. Now, you think I'm being funny in just the typical VWJ translation of the Bible. No, this is science and it's proven. So when Yahweh puts man to sleep, he always pulls out of you what you need for your next stage and phase. Watch, because what he did was before he put man to sleep, he put man in the garden of Eden. He then gave man day 7. Then with day 7 told man everything that was in the Garden of Eden. Man was still male and female. Input, I put, in-gate, I-gate, and then made man speak what he put into him. But man doesn't understand this yet. So he puts man now to sleep so that he can help him process everything he just registered. And when man wakes up, everything he took in as an intake that day, now he starts to give a different output because he's understanding it better. He processes it better. And each day he takes in stuff. Each day you hear a conversation. Each day you see something in your eyesight and you go to sleep, your brain registers it. Some of y'all having a problem with memory because you never gave your brain time enough to process it. Short-term, long-term memory. Some of y'all dealing with diabetes, hypertension, because you've not given your body time enough to actually rest and get it through your process of your system. Now, there are certain infirmities that are going to just hit you and they got to go through you. But watch this. If you notice, the greatest prescription, the all-time prescription for both psychiatry, psychology, and medicine is rest. It is given out in the most amount of doses and it's told to be done in perpetuity, and we still don't do it. Doctors say you need your rest. I know, but I got to get this done. You're going to get done. What you need to do is rest. The biggest and longest and most well-written prescription is rest. And it was the very prescription for life in the garden. So once you and I rest, then the creator of who we are can pull out of us what we need to help meet the goal. It was not good that man be all one. So Yahweh pours into him what he needs and then says, you know what? I need to pull this out. Let me, as the young folk would say today, let me get that up out you. Yeah, y'all don't want to talk to me. It's okay. Yahweh says, look, I put something in you. Let me get it about you. And what does he do after day 7? Adam wakes up with now an external element that he knows is connected to him, that he knows is for his good. Now, we don't see it that way because it's just a religious thing. It's a spiritual thing. That's a churchy thing. Hallelujah. I don't feel no ways tired. No, you have to understand that what Yahweh does in rest, in Shabbat, is pulls out of you things he already decreed in you, things he already put inside of you that you don't know how to use. Remember, we don't know how to pray as we ought. And if we don't rest, if we don't sit down, if we don't sleep in a normal day, and then carry that into a Sabbath day for 7 days of a week, and then carry that into a season. Watch this. This rest from Yahweh is not just daily, it is also weekly, it is also seasonally, it is also yearly. And guess what? It is also half an actual century. Rest is implied by design. And when you walk into these moments and these times of rest, those spiritual, they manifest literally in a physical way in your life. And the way that they do, they give you these understandings. Watch this. If you take the half a year rest, a half a century rest, the 50-year rest, you all like to preach and holler and scream about it. Jubilee, Jubilee. And you got no clue what Jubilee is about. Jubilee is a total restoration of what you expended, you, your mama, your cousin, your daddy from the family, to make it by in that last year. And in the 50-year Jubilee, it now restores everything you gave up to make it this far, and your board is washed and you start fresh from what you were initially given. Oh, we got the Shemitah year. We got the Shemitah year. Every 7 years is the Shemitah year. You don't know what a Shemitah is. You might as well just be quiet, Shalita. You don't even know what a Shemitah is. So sit down somewhere, because a Shemitah year is a 7-year version of the 50-year version, which is, watch this, a 7-year version is the 7-year version of a yearly version. And the yearly version is of a seasonal version. The seasonal version is of a daily version. The whole concept for you and I not losing our mind, when you get back what the enemy took from you, when you get back what you gave away, when you get it back, you are made whole. Wilt thou be made whole? Yeah, Jesus put him in the water. No, he didn't. You thought that because your narrative had been giving you that, oh, I got to get in the water. Ain't nobody help me get in the water. Nobody got me in the water. Yeshua didn't ask you to get in the water. He said, will you be made whole? And so when you understand that that is what begins the spiritual, biblical enlightenment to how you and I are made whole, and we fight. If I have soundness of mind, what gives me soundness of mind? When I have capacity and full faculty of my members. I am insecure when I'm dealing with infirmities that they say are terminal. I'm insecure because I don't know what's going to happen next. When I'm insecure when I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. I'm insecure when I don't know how to deal with the woes that my child is dealing with, and I didn't go through what they went through. I am insecure when I'm not a woman and I got a problem with my woman. I'm insecure unless I go to the Father and ask him, please help me understand who you've given me and how do I communicate with her or she, him. Father God, I'm not a man. I can act like it. I can punch. I can throw a fight. That's just fighting. That's humanity. I can bite an apple. I can eat a stack of corn. That's just human, but I don't know how to be a masculine entity as a female. So Father, help me with this. And you can't get that help until you're sitting in Sabbath. And that's when Yahweh lets everything you experience with that entity you're presently complaining about, now somebody just say, make it make sense. So when we close our eyes and we are listening to what Yahweh would for us to do, you now understand how to come back from what has depleted you. And you have soundness of mind when you rest, you have a better semblance of order. Things will happen to you. Places will cause problems for you. Everything in your life gets weird. But you got to understand that whatever has hit you, whatever has attacked you, whatever has come on you, whatever sits in your lap in the day of Sabbath, whatever you have that comes at you at night before you go to bed, it all comes to follow you. This is why your rest time is in the prime time of the day, because it's then you can have a conversation with the Father. You're supposed to be, you want to spill the tea. This is when you spill the tea, in the prime time of the day. And you don't spill it with a neighbor. You don't spill it with a girlfriend. You don't spill it with a homie. You don't spill it with your ex diva or your best diva or whoever they are, because none of that stuff is real. You spill the tea with Yahweh at night in those hours. Remember, again, he proved it with the man he made, and then he gave them a day. He says, Adam, why are you not sitting at the table with me spilling the tea? Well, I heard you was coming, and I was dressed inappropriately. Adam, where are you, Adam? Adam, where you at? Well, what? See, the salesman came over from the, and I ended up buying the stuff that you said I can make myself, but so I'm not properly dressed. So when you spill the tea, when you want to go tell that, and you want to talk about these different things, you want to put yourself in a position where you are in the place he's called for, in the space he's required of you, and this is where you get restored. Now, I can't see that, so I don't think they're going to be able to see that either. It's a little bit. So we're gonna keep moving without it. But in Sabbath, in your rest, you get these attributes that are extremely important, and those important attributes are understanding that when your brain has your body in rapid eye movement, your brain, that whole rapid eye movement is what you saw when we had the big computers back in the day, and you hear all that calculating that was going on and all that riveting that was going on. That's what random or rapid eye movement is to the human being, because now all that data it's taken in is being pulled up, and that's really Ruach HaKodesh. That's really your brain, the way Yahweh designed it, functioning to help you process. Tuck this away. Stuff that ain't got nothing to do with your salvation, tuck it away. Stuff that's got a way of triggering you, tuck it away. Put it behind this gate. You talk about Yahweh, guard the heart of my soul, guard the soul, guard my lips, guard my tongue. All of that happens when you are in rest. Thank you for getting that up. But give me a second before we put that up there, so I want to make sure people get this. It will seem as if I am just talking, but to defeat depression, to defeat anxiety, insecurity, and copycatter syndrome, and to defeat not being fulfilled in life, which makes you go out and mimic somebody else's, you need to have sufficiency in you. The only way to get the uniqueness of you in sufficiency is to sit with him. And it is a actual truth. As a person who dealt with, I dealt with suicidal tendencies. I literally tried to take my life 3 times. Twice the doctor said I was successful in my efforts. Where did that feel to do that action come from? Me being anxious, trying to meet me being trying to meet a goal and trying to meet an image that the world was projecting. And if you ain't this, you ain't cool, you ain't down, you ain't dad, you can't be skinny, you can't be fat, you can't be tall, you can't be short, you can't be blonde, you can't be blue. All of that insecurity because I don't know who I am. You don't know where you are. You don't know whose you are. And though we were saying this phrase back in the 70s, I am who I am because I know whose I am. And we didn't even know that because we were still, though coming to church, though sitting and reading the Bible, we were not resting in his word. So that's great. Still give me a second. So I want y'all to understand this, because what you get, which is what Prophetess Leslie is still trying to get up there for y'all, but I don't want that to distract y'all from what I'm saying to you until I can direct you to it so you can know why it's there. So at the end of the day, what gets you through any stage of mental, psychological pain, struggle, everybody has struggle. There is nothing new under the sun, but there is something not used under the sun, and that is the state and the place of rest. Because we've been taught the early bird gets the worm. It's a dog eat rat race world. Look, I'm from the city. I don't race rats. I'm sorry. Now, I know in some of those cuisines that came over for certain spaces and places in the world where dog is an actual delicacy, I try not to eat dog. So I'm not in a dog eat. I'm not in a rat race world. Okay. Now I know I believe I've probably eaten my share of cat because of the, number one walk. I'm just gonna put it out there. Because the cats was there one day, they was missing the next. And they ain't never came back. I pet it one day. I don't know, I wondered why the pork felt funny. I was just putting it out there, but I was too hungry to argue with them. And the rice, the way they made the rice taste with the egg in it and the carrots and the peas, it just made the protein go down well. So I don't know. I probably did. I ate the dog and I ate the cat. But this ain't the world we live in. So if you're running like a hamster on a wheel, you have to rest. If you're running in this narrative of got to get ahead, got to get on top, if you're climbing a ladder and you keep running up to the top of the ladder and getting hit with this ceiling, whether it's glass or one that you know is there and you're trying to push up, or one that you don't know is there and you keep getting hit by it because you thought it was a clear view, all of this is made, watch this, it's made clear when you sit in Sabbath, when you rest your soul, because it's your soul that's hurting. Oh, I mean that from the depth of my soul. Your soul is hurting. There is an actual maintenancing plan for your soul, spiritually and naturally. Naturally, it's called sleep. Spiritually, it's called Shabbat. So you don't want to be anxious. Anxiety comes, and the Bible tells you, be not, we say it differently, but I'm going to say it the way that you need to get it. Be ye anxious for nothing. Your Bible uses the word be careful for nothing, but that word in the Greek means to be anxious for nothing. Do not wonder or worry where it's coming from. Be anxious for nothing. Watch this. In all your ways, acknowledge him. He will direct your path. The reason you're anxious is because you don't know where from hell you're going. Because when you get in Yahweh, you are running as far away from the hell as your forefather Adam has now exposed you and I to. And that's what you're running from. You're running away. You're trying to get, but if you watch this, if you don't know where you're going, you will run around like the children of Israel did in the wilderness for 40 years, back around the same place. And David tried to give us a clue. Your word is a lamp to my feet. Your word is a light to my pathway. We're running in the dark, and the Sabbath is the day that promotes light. So when you have light, which is the word of Elohim, you can go to John 1:1. It tells you right there, John 1, John 3, and that word was the life, and the life of the word was the light of man. And if you don't have that light, you are walking in a world that is normally, naturally dark. There is a light to rule the night, and there's a light to rule the day. And when Yahweh says that when you are in his word, he'll make your midnights as if it were noonday, when the sun is at its highest place and light is at its most optimal for you. But what we don't realize is that in order for us to avoid and avert any affliction that has the right to engage us, you are not going to not encounter things that can make you depressed. You are not going to encounter things that can leave you broken. You are not going to encounter things that can leave you sick physically or in your innermost self or your righteous indignation. But you are literally able to manage them when you bring what you've encountered into a state of rest. And Zion, if you want to not have oppression and depression in your soul, you got to get into rest first, so that what you did take in, because some of the stuff you and I take in, we think are just not good for us. And because they already have a reputation that precede them, and now you got it, and you think your pain, you think that death of a loved one, you think that betrayal, you think that the backstabbing that took place is just not good for you. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you sit in Sabbath, you sit in rest, you'll see how it was designed to actually promote you. But if you don't, you'll only see it as anger and revenge. And now you get constipated with revenge. And now you're going to end up in depression, because you probably usually can't get the person you're trying to get revenge on, because revenge belongs to Elohim. And now you're depressed that you can't do it, and you feel insufficient. And God, why you won't let me get back at him? And he already told you, vengeance is mine, says Yahweh, but you ain't listening. Now, if you came and sat down in Sabbath and read my word, it would give you an enlightenment to understand that I meant what I said. Now forgive your brother, forgive your sister, forgive your mom, forgive your dad. Oh, you was tripping last week when you said that, because you didn't pick your brother up when they fell in the fault, but you gossiped about him. You put all over social media. You spilled all the tea. Why didn't you come and have tea with me? Oh, you know the song, I Miss My Time With You. Yeah, y'all been singing these songs all your lives. I miss my time with you. He wants more of you. Y'all been sitting here wailing, more. Sit down at the table. You singing in the shower. Come sit to the table. Adam, Adam, where are you? Now, what happened? Adam, because he wasn't in the place he was supposed to be, put the wrong garb on, made up some stuff. So now I want to help you with this. When you rest in Elohim, when you rest, when you go to the physician, when you go to the physician to manage an infirmity, an illness, I don't care what the diagnosis is, You can't leave here till Yahweh says you can leave this planet. Can you make an infirmity like cancer, like leukemia, like anything that is deemed in the medical world, can you make it worse in your life than it needs to be? Yeah. By not carrying it and you to the Father during Shabbat. By not carrying it and you to the physician who's going to say, hey, listen, we need to give you this to balance you out. There's a chemical, you have a chemical imbalance, or your immunity system is down. So let's get you some vitamin C. You also going to need a little bit of, of this and some elderberry. And we're going to give you a little bit of, this extract because you need that because you don't have it in your system. You depleted it trying to fight it off. So we need to refresh that. But to get that in you rightly, we need you to also rest. Don't do nothing. Don't let your children come and give you no stress. Don't let your spouse come and give you no stress. Get your mother out of your daggone head. Tell her, call me on Monday or call me on Mom, I love you. You need anything? No, I just want to talk to you. I can't talk right now, Mom. I love you so very much, but we'll talk on. I promise you, as soon as Sabbath over, I'm going to call you right back. All right. Well, Jimmy has, Mom, thank you, but Jimmy, you go talk to Jimmy. I'm going to sit in Sabbath and chill with the Father. I need to know how to keep me healthy and whole. So when you have these diagnoses and you have these even prognosis, when you are unsure about them, they can drive you into, if you listen to the diagnosis and you listen to the typical prognosis of a diagnosis, you can make the quality of your life worse. You do not make your body, you don't cause yourself to die, but you make the quality of your life worse because you've not taken the diagnosis, the prognosis to the Father in Sabbath rest and let him tell you how you're going to manage this. So let me give you this in a practical sense. When a person is in need of healing, the physician may add a supplement because you've been depleted through your experience. But to get it to settle inside of you, he needs you to rest. Rapid eye movement. And now it takes because you're relaxed. And now you're being filled, giving a sense of sufficiency, no matter what it is. So when the physician says, come into my room, come on in my room. Come on in. Y'all remember that? I'm gonna make fun about it until the day I die. I promise you I am, because we've had the whole answer the whole time. Jesus is my doctor, and he writes out all of my prescriptions, and he give me all my medicine in my room. What room? He who dwells in the secret place of El Elyon shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. You know the secret room is Sabbath, right? Did you know to get in and did you know to get an infusion you need to be still? Do you know that it comes from you sitting and not exerting? You can't put water into a bag that has a hole in it. The hole has to be patched first or replaced as a whole bag, and then this that you need can be stored inside of it. So when you're in the world, so when you and I rest in him, he now can give us the sufficiency. Now give me the medication, the spiritual medication called shalom. Y'all thought it was a hello, hey, what's up, what's popping, what's good? Now, when I want y'all to put it there, you can't get it. Can I get the shalom on the screen, please? Got my Medicaid. Yeah, like I ain't paid my medical bill. Put the thing up on the screen. Where is it at? Let me give y'all the medication that keeps you away from. Give me a different one than that one. Yeah, give me that one you had on the side with the words. So When you come into Sabbath, Yahweh is writing you a prescription. And the way he's writing you the prescription is in shalom. Listen, you have anxiety because you don't have a sound mind. You have anxiety because you don't have harmony all around you. Your health is questionable or has something attached to it. You don't feel whole. Something happened that broke you. Someone took a piece of your heart. They just broke your heart. He gives you back that wholeness. Some of us did real dumb stuff thinking that we were supposed to be in a marriage, and yeah, I'm 50 and they 50, and then when they left, they took the 50 from your 100, and you thought you're not complete no more. No. He shows you how to have perfectedness. He shows you how to be prosperous. When you sit in Shabbat, he gives you, this is the biggest thing, y'all, soundness of mind. If your mind is sound, knowing ain't nothing new under the sun. What happened to me happened to Jimmy, happened to Clarice too. And they still making it. I'm going to make it too. And I serve Yahweh. He going to make sure I get through. When you have a sound mind, you can travel and do anything because it means you are conscientious. It means that you are consistently alert. It means you are paying attention. It means you have enough information to help you get through some other things. The biggest problem for most people right now, you in relationships with people, your mind ain't sound because you don't have a sound plan from Elohim. It leaves you full. It can give you rest for your soul. In that he gives you, we're searching for riches in this world. Riches and gold, silver and gold, silver, riches in this world. Yahweh don't want you searching for riches. It's like I told y'all in Shavuot, you glorifying crumbs, and Yahweh's trying to make you the chef of the bread. See, riches are temporal. Wealth can produce riches, just like a loaf of bread can produce crumbs. We've been conditioned to go for the crumbs and feel sufficient. Oh, even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Yeah, but no, I'm Israel by faith, baby. I'm making the loaf. I'm not eating the crumbs. I got the flour, I got the honey, I got the oil, I got the grain, I got it. I got the crucible, I got the kneader, I got the oven. Yeah, I can make the bread. I ain't eating crumbs because who made that? Matter of fact, do they wash their hands when they make that meal? Because I don't eat everybody's food. So if the crumbs was in the bread is in the crumbs, what's in the crumbs is in the bread. Now, if she or he who made the bread, they got nasty hands, they was licking them the whole time and tasting and talking about, I need a little bit more salt. And then you put your hand and knead it in. I get all of that too. So whatever was going on up inside of there with all them, and you can't taste nothing. Now you wonder, I got COVID because I can't taste the bread. Is that COVID? How did I get COVID? Because she was licking and putting her fingers back into the salt, and then she moved around and put a little bit of paprika. Yeah, stop it. I want to make my own bread. Wealth is not riches. Wealth creates riches, and we run around here trying to be rich. That's why we don't understand, and we are anxious for nothing because we're trying to build riches. We're trying to look like we got the labels. We're trying to look like we got the right names on us. And Yahweh said, I need one name in you. I don't need 80 names on you. I need one name in you. It's Yahweh. I will be that I will be. And this is how you get to feel whole. This is how you have a soundness of mind. I know my Redeemer lives. I know in whom I believe. I know this situation coming for me. I know the doctor gave me this diagnosis, but I know in whom I believe. And you know what? Excuse me, y'all. Wait, I'll see y'all in 24 hours. He's calling me to the bedroom. He's calling me to a place where I'm going to be under his feathers. He's calling me to a place where he can literally impregnate. Does not mean the sexual version y'all always talk about. He's giving me an IV. He's giving me the supplement that I need. He's giving me what's going to give me rehydration back to my soul. He's, watch this, I'm under his arms and I've been being chased all week, all month, but Yahweh's going to bring me back into a place of safety. Oh, and by the way, my house is in disarray. I need his tranquility. I'll see y'all in 24 hours. I got to go back to get things reset. And then there is the peace. I want y'all to change your peace on there to peace that passes all understanding. And so these are the things. Where do these elements come from? They are administered when you, in fact, lay down on his table, and then he can say, you know what, you're short of health. Let me infuse you with some more, with the word for health. You're lacking over here. There's a leak over here. Let me patch this up. Let me patch things up for you. Stop letting that person in your mind keep draining your energy, thinking about them. You giving them more rent-free space in your head than you're giving me, Yahweh says. And only in Sabbath can you see I'm thinking more about this joker than I'm thinking about Yahweh. Only in Sabbath, when you sit down and rest and stop breathing all heavy and hyperventilate, and you can't get a good deep breath. The biggest thing I do as a clinician, as a pastor, is help people through panic attacks. You know, the biggest aid for any panic attack, in truth, oxygenation. Breathe deep. If I can get you to calm down and just breathe, and you get oxygen to your brain, your mind kicks back in. You think I'm being dramatic, don't you? That's what I encounter every time I take a counseling call. And you trying to talk through that. Y'all don't, you might not like that, but that's just a fact. And so I can't even hear you talk. What are you saying? And Sally, and did she, you would be so, what she said to me, and she told me, and he was like, child, stop. Even the word stop means rest. Breathe. Hold it in. Now exhale slow and fully. Now breathe in one more time. The breath of life. And I know y'all might not like my unorthodox antics that get you to see a principle you and I have been using as antiques. But Sabbath is the healer and cure because it carries as a vehicle the balm in Gilead. Everything you see here is that balm. You want to get rid of depression and anxiety and things that leave you rigid and fidgety and wonder why they don't like me. Who don't like me? They don't like me. And they don't like, why they don't like you? Because you're not being you. And the only way you can learn what you are is in Shabbat when you sit with the Father. He that dwelleth in the secret place of El Elyon shall abide under the shadow of El Shaddai. I will say, in him will I trust. He is my refuge. He is my fortress. It's not by might. We all got might. It's not by power. We all got power. But it is by my spirit, says Yahweh our Elohim. And the sword of the Spirit is the word of Elohim. And the place you are admonished to take the word of Elohim the most and make it your complete concentration is any Sabbath, seventh day or Moedim. If you're not getting a full dose in Shabbat, then you will walk out of there going back into the world with no answers. That adds to, tacks on to the anxiety because you don't know what you're doing. You can take that down. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're saying. You don't know what to do next. That's why he says, come unto me, all ye that have labored, I will give you rest. That's where we messed up. He doesn't say, I'll give you rest. He says, I'll give you Shabbat. See, Shabbat is a gift. It's given you because in Shabbat, Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, he put and appointed things in the Shabbat. He made edicts for you in the Shabbat. He ordained things for you in the Shabbat. The Greek calls this limiteth, horizod. He literally proclaims things for you in the Shabbat, but you got to get there to make you whole again. I found it funny when the man at the pool of Shalom got it twisted because of the mob narrative. When the angel came down, every year they would turn the water and trouble the water, and trouble don't last always. Clearly it didn't, because the water was trouble for a couple seconds, and then whoever got in first won. So trouble clearly don't last always. No disrespect, Timothy, but at the end of the day, trouble don't last. So they would trouble the water. But what Yahweh would tell them, when Yeshua told them, and he says, will you be made whole? Watch this. We do too much. Will you be made whole? Ain't nobody gonna get me in the water. Ain't nobody got me in the water. I ain't got nobody to get me in the water. Every time I come down here, Sally, she know I be down here, and they've been plotting on me for 3 weeks, and they brought this chick down here, and then they got 6 other guys that come in here. They knew I was waiting this year. This was my year. Sound like my Dallas Cowboys. This was my year. This gonna be my year, and I can't get in the water, right? Because we doing too much. Messiah says, so you've been doing it this way for a long time? Do you know who I am? This is the living word talking to him. Do you know who I am? Well, I ain't got nobody get me in this water. You worry about that water. You worried about that water. Do you know who I am? Boy, will you be made whole? It ain't your religious actions. And though those things worked until the manifestation came, you and I now have the manifestation of what shalom looks like. The accessing of it is still the same. You got to rest in him. These things come forth only by fasting and prayer. How do I cast them demons out my babies? They can't hear you. They deaf. They dumb. You can't see it. Nah, they throw themselves off the cliff. They be doing all this stuff. They wild in school. These things come forth but by fasting and prayer. When you and I fast from the world and we pray, open our communication with the Father in Sabbath, he tells us, your baby got somebody trying to get at them that ain't supposed to be in their world at this age. They're not mature enough for that. Your son is over here dealing with this. You don't know how you know it, but you know it. And eventually you're going to see a trigger that helps you get right to them at that hair-splitting moment that makes him decide to not go out that night, where he could end up in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And because in Sabbath, Yahweh gives you insight. These things come forth only by fasting and prayer. You can't just tell by the symptoms. I did answer your question. Some might not think so. Because we have a preconceived idea, a predisposition about Sabbath. Sabbath can't be any day. Sabbath is his day. You need to make your way. I don't care if you're carrying a disease and a virus that they say is going to be with you the rest of your life. It doesn't kill you. You can make it have a worse impact on you. But when you have Sabbath in your life, you usually will outlive the diagnosis. And you'll be surprised what the cause of death on the coroner's papers say. They just expired. Well, they had this infirmity, but that ain't what killed them. You see, when you don't know that, you panic because of this. Okay. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We talked too long.
Thank you so much. It was a life changing, that breath, just the whole thing. But there was one quick thing you talked about light that I seen today on Instagram that I wanted to show. Let's see. It'll play. Can't hear
it. Moment of conception. And the sperm enters the egg, and there's this poof of light that comes off of it. Scientists are studying this, and they're looking at it, and they're like, okay, well, it looks like it's a release of zinc, a burst of zinc that comes off the egg, and it creates this appearance. But any way you slice it, they can't explain away that light happens when life happens. Is that amazing? Light happens when life happens. So,
But you got to have
So,
life to trigger the light. And the life is the word. And that word is the life that becomes the light of man. Sabbath. The Moedim. Your only job is to sit with the word for those 24 hours, and you will be impregnated. And that which is impregnated becomes not a child support issue, but in this case, daddy can afford it. It becomes a pregnation and a birthing potential of purpose. We just didn't pay attention to what he said in Genesis.
yeah, didn't know. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. So, Apostle, if you don't mind closing us out, and I want to say happy birthday again to all the happy birthday, happy Father's Day to all the father. Hope you enjoy your day, and I hope that Yahweh meets you right where you're at.
Yahweh, we thank you for your day and time. We thank you for the word and will. We're asking you to be with, in, through, and toward us for your name's sake and praise. To you be glory, honor, dominion, might, and power, both now and forevermore. We thank you. We love you. We adore you. And Yahweh, we pray now that the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts, let them be acceptable in your sight, Yahweh. You are our strength and you are our Redeemer. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Now, may Yahweh bless you all and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and be gracious unto you. May Yahweh lift his countenance upon you and grant you all 13 attributes of his shalom. This we pray in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Apostle. I can't say anything. That was so rich. Have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you.